You're my friend now. We're having soft tacos later.
What kind of feeling? I'm high on believing that you're in love with me.
Glad I had a reason to show you all that amazing video. Anyway, today I'm here to talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy and the importance of family and identity in both Guardians Volume 1 and Volume 2. Press start to begin. In order to properly discuss and take an introspective look into each Guardian on the team, first we must understand each character's basic motivations and general background, starting with Peter Quill. Peter probably has the most complex childhood, maybe besides Gamora. He lost his mother due to brain cancer, was captured by aliens sent by his father, and grew up with said aliens with the constant fear of being eaten by the leader Yondu, who was very tough on Peter in his growing up years. Peter had only about 6 years to know the love of his living mother and struggled with it his whole life, well into his 30s. Peter's biggest fear was losing his mother, even after he had already lost her, and as a result, he never truly grew up after that one traumatic event. He learned to live only to please himself and to put literal and emotional distance between him and Yondu, his only real father figure. Gamora's home planet was ravaged by Thanos and his army, killing half the population, including Gamora's immediate family. Just like Peter, she had very little time with her parents growing up, and was taken in by a murderous, vengeful father figure. She was adopted by Thanos, and was trained to be the fiercest woman in the galaxy against her will. Gamora spent the years of training by battling her new adopted sister Nebula, which drew the two apart. Gamora was trained to live and die by the rule of her tyrannical father Thanos. She pleased him at every moment by carrying out his missions without fail. She eventually saw this as a dead-end goal and sought the Power Stone to get as far away from Thanos as she could to start life anew. All we know of Drax is that Thanos murdered his wife and child, and that he seeks to avenge them both by killing Thanos. Pretty simple. Rocket and Groot have equally simple backstories. Rocket was an experiment that succeeded and escaped captivity, and not much is known about Groot, other than that he and Rocket have a profound, time-honored friendship. Both these misfits are bounty hunters, always looking for the next paycheck. Lastly, Mantis worked for Peter Quill's father, Kurt Russell, Ego the Living Planet. Her duty was to help him sleep, and that's about it. She didn't have much going for her when she was introduced in Guardians Volume 2, but a very touching scene in the second act explores her depth of understanding and emotion, which nudges her to break free of Ego's grasp and join the team. Now that the Guardians' pasts and motivations are out of the way, we can begin to explore the impact of all the Guardians meeting, then fighting, then tolerating, and finally accepting one another. All of the Guardians, except for Drax and Mantis, meet on a metropolis planet called Xandar. Immediately it is here, 18 minutes into the film, that Quill, Gamora, Rocket, and Groot are all fighting each other in the crowded streets of Xandar for the Power Stone. Quill, Rocket, and Groot all want to sell it for a high price, and Gamora wants to use it to disappear from Thanos and his area of influence. As stated before, these motivations keep in line with each character and what they're after as individuals. This battle is shown so early in the movie to give us a clear sense of who these people are, what drives them, and why we as an audience should care about them. They proceed to be taken to prison, and it is here that we meet Drax the Destroyer and find out his motivations. The new team reluctantly works together to escape, with jokes and sarcasm thrown around a lot. They go on to save Xandar from Ronan the Accuser, and learn how to work together as a team, formulate plans to achieve a goal, and even sacrifice themselves at multiple moments in the film to save a teammate. It's this sacrifice that's the most fascinating to me because it's a direct result of character work, character relationships, and trust. There are several moments in Guardians Volume 1 and 2 that depict two of the main characters alone and away from the others, and the interactions that follow lay the groundwork for the rest of the runtime. Let me show you what I mean. In Volume 1, Peter and Gamora are on a balcony looking into space, and Peter talks about his favorite movie, the original Footloose. From that comes dancing, and from that, the idea of fun. This is a concept lost to Gamora, as her childhood was forced to prioritize strength and combat training, with no time for extraneous activities. Things like losing one's own inhibitions and letting go in the moment. Peter reminds Gamora of the simple, small joys in life, like listening to a love song by Elvin Bishop, slow dancing, and really connecting with someone. Gamora listens to the lyrics intently, commenting that the melody is rather pleasant. This may be the easiest scene to pick apart like this. Gamora lets down her barrier slowly, but still keeps her guard up when Peter puts the headphones on her. This moment really softens Gamora up, and it shows her that there is more to Peter than she initially thought. While he may not have many ambitions, Gamora now understands that Peter does have passion for music and dancing, which is deeper than she ever thought he would be. Peter also learns about Gamora as well. He sees a soft spot inside the hard exterior of a warrior, and now he knows that she can let go a little if shown the way. The two personalities of the characters complement each other perfectly, one jokey and carefree, and the other serious and hardened, a perfect foil. Another great slower moment between two of the Guardians in Volume 2, Drax and Mantis on Planet Ego. Drax comments on the pools of water and the land surrounding them, and he is reminded of his late daughter and how she loved visiting the lakes back on his homeworld. Mantis listens to his story and puts her hand on his shoulder. She feels his sorrow and immediately begins to cry, because that's kind of her superpower. Drax continues to sit quietly, showing his loss in a very subtle expression. He is almost content and at peace with his family gone, but still remembers the good memories he had with his daughter, and it's easy to see that he misses them very dearly. Not by sobbing or showing any outward signs of grief, but by sitting quietly, looking at the fountains in front of them. Mantis looks at Drax in a new light, no longer as the man she may have thought before, but now a man that has been through very difficult times. One last moment I want to talk about is one of my personal favorites. This is the token low point that every movie gets to somewhere in the plot, be it Luke leaving Yoda to save his friends in Empire, or when Ellie tells John Hammond that he never really had control of any of the animals in Jurassic Park. Guardians of the Galaxy's low point is when all the main characters are on Peter's ship, sitting in a circle, not sure how to save Planet Xandar from an impending alien invasion. Peter unites the group by relating them all together by calling them all losers. People that have lost families, their homes, their chance at a normal life. He says life is giving them a chance to give a shit, to care about something, and try to accomplish a single goal as a team, and not as individuals. This is the moment these losers, these misfits, truly come together and form the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a movie all about misfits, and how society has made a single move to cast each one out of normalcy. Rocket was a rogue experiment that never felt love. Drax became an infamous assassin in the name of revenge. Gamora was the right-hand man to the galaxy's most feared titan, and Peter Quill was never allowed to grow up and be a leader, a captain, a friend. It is this one common trait amongst all these people, these outcasts, that binds them together in friendship and trust. A trait that shows and does not tell. A trait that, in silence, can express the most understanding that each team member feels an unusual bond to the others. The construction of relationships and care throughout the movie lies behind the bravado and sarcasm of the Guardians. It's all a front. Each one of them acts tougher, as if he or she is above the rest, more experienced, more cunning, more dangerous than the others. Peter acts carefree and macho. Gamora is resentful and stoic. Rocket is very loud and sarcastic, and Drax is perceived as unloving and uncompassionate. But you know what? Quill is a scared little boy living alone in space with no one to care for and no one to care for him. Drax is a lost, grieving husband, father, trying to cope with his tremendous feeling of loss, guilt, and regret. Gamora is a pathless warrior who doesn't want to fight and has grown up in an awful household with no real family, and the only family she has, someone that can relate to her, is her sister, who she battles constantly for her own survival. And Rocket is a confused, frightened creation, not knowing his place in the world or why he was created. His purpose in life is unclear, and instead of searching for that purpose, he shoves it aside and copes with the issue by playing bounty hunter and feeling no emotion every day of his life. These characters are not evil aliens or cape-wearing heroes. They are us. They are people. People with problems, people with guilt, with pain, with questions about life, and where they stand in the world. None of them know how to move on, forgive, and love amidst all the darkness that life has given them. These characters are, in a single word, relatable. Peter and Gamora have daddy issues. Groot and Rocket know nothing else but the next way to make money. Drax has lost the only family he's ever had, and Mantis feels immense guilt for keeping a secret from her new friends. These are not flawless heroes. They are not triumphant. The Guardians are unsure of themselves. They make massive mistakes, and they are untrusting. Until they meet each other. People like them, people that have just lost too much. That is the driving theme behind the film as a whole, loss, and dealing with loss. Supplementing this are themes of family, camaraderie, teamwork, and learning to love. Director James Gunn took a ragtag band of heroes from the Marvel Comics and made the most out-of-nowhere success that Marvel Studios had ever seen in the history of their 6-year cinematic universe. This movie was a multi-million-dollar success in its opening weekend, but most importantly, Gunn made us care about these people. Not necessarily heroes or underdogs, but simply people. This movie makes you feel like you care about these characters, their problems, their relationships. This is no mere accident. Guardians of the Galaxy did not do as well as it did because some directors showed up, did his job, and went home to go to bed at a reasonable hour and do the same thing again the next day. This was a passionate attempt at showing a grandiose universe at its most relatable, its most vulnerable state, from a director who wanted the audience to feel something for the characters on screen. In the words of High Top Films, and that's what movies do, make you feel something. So my personal experience with Guardians of the Galaxy was simply late. I saw the movie 2 years after it had come out, and I sorta liked it, but then I watched it again, and again, and again, until it sank in through my dense skull that this movie was a work of art. It was funny and entertaining, but it didn't shy away from emotional and deep moments. This movie went with a simple plot for a powerful object, but fleshed out the cast of characters completely. It didn't undercut the character moments with jokes, and it didn't put boring, undercooked pieces of meat in the focus. It most importantly told a story about people that anyone can relate to. That's why Guardians of the Galaxy works. Thanks for watching this video, and always remember to be a hero. Later!